Okay, everybody. So today we have another story, uh, shady business practice. Of course, um, this one really hits home because my information was actually in California, and turns out they're selling it. So California DMV earned 51 million from selling drivers' personal info last year. Report finds. Now I got to be honest. This is originally reported from Vice, and I don't necessarily trust them 100%. Um, in my opinion, they're more clickbait news. However, let's dig in. All right, let's see. Sacramento, CBS. A new report shows California Department of Motor Vehicles is cashing in by selling drivers' personal information to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. Apparently, they've been doing it for several years here. According to Vice, which I don't trust all that much, the agency made 51 million last year by selling data that included drivers' names, addresses, car registration information. That's frustrating. All right. Again, my data was actually in California. I left California last year. Actually, I'm sorry, this year. And so this kind of irritates me a little bit. Why? You're probably asking. Well, it's not like we have an option. It's not like we have a choice. If we want to take part in, just about anything, we have to get a driver's license or we have to get an ID, and so we're forced to get this stuff and give them our information, and they're selling it without telling us. All right, so let's continue. It is unclear who is buying the data. No transparency at all. That's one thing that really irritates me is not only are they doing it, but they're not being transparent about it. This actually was reported about a week ago, and still no information about who exactly is buying this information. It's our information. We should know who's buying it. I'm sure there's a list somewhere out there. It's unclear who is buying the data, but previous investigation by the same news organization, Vice, found DMV agencies around the country were selling the information to data brokers, credit agencies, and personal investigators. Just not right. The report has prompted reaction in presidential. Come on. This is a way to kind of wedge Bernie in there. Gonna skip that. Yeah, that's definitely a way to wedge Bernie in there. No thanks. A DMV spokesperson told Vice the agency data selling practices are in compliance with state law. Well, it seems like there's a problem with state, then, isn't there? I've had an issue with California laws and just California leadership in general for years now. For a while there, I just kind of ignored a lot of it because I thought, oh, well, we live in a beautiful state. It's nice out here. I lived in San Jose area, about an hour south of San Francisco. So it was really great weather. Everything was pretty close. So, mountains were about an hour away. The beach was about an hour away. It was pretty great. So I ignored a lot of this stuff, but eventually it gets to be too much. You just get tired of it. I just noticed, taxes. To give you an example of some shady practices, they kept telling us they're going to raise the gas taxes on us, and they did. And they promised that money would be used for the roads. The roads were pretty bad, and especially in some areas. So what happened was they raised the taxes and then immediately took that money from the taxes. Newsom did this, forced cities to actually take that money from the gas taxes and actually use it for the homeless. Not that there's anything wrong with using money for the homeless, but be honest about it. You lied to us. And it just happened over and over again. They just kept lying to us. If you wanted to use that money for homeless, you should have told us we're going to raise prices or raise gas taxes to help the homeless. We might have been okay with it. But no, you lied. It's just constant lying. And I just got really tired of it. The report comes as the DMV attempts to address numerous issues. So this is another thing. Lines at many offices have been so long. So when I went to DMV, when we used to go to DMV several times, I mean, they're just rude. So to give you an example, I was at DMV once, and they always have these huge lines at the DMV line. Uh, Typically, everybody knows it would just take you about an hour, hour and a half to get in and get out of there. Even with an appointment, it could be 45 minutes to an hour. It was pretty bad. So one time I was there, apparently they were having a few issues with one of their computers or something was happening. And I sat down and I had been waiting for about 45 minutes. This little old lady was sitting just in front to the left of me. And the lady comes out, the DMV person comes out and says, "All right, everybody, no more appointments today. No more people can be helped because we're having some issues with our computer. So you have to come back." And the little old lady actually said, "I've been waiting here for 2 hours." I think she said about 2 hours. And the DMV person turned around, looked at her, and said, "Not my problem," and walked away. I mean, that was the attitude that we got. It was just crazy. It's crazy. Eventually, when Trump made it a little easier to fire a lot of these folks, and then when we found out that a lot of the government people or some of the higher ups in the state had their own DMV, no lines, no nothing. They had special people just for them. That came out, and all of a sudden, people started cracking down on the DMV. I walked in to get my real ID, and it took me about 30 minutes. Interesting how they could have helped us. They could have done better, but they chose not to. It's just a bunch of mess. It's just a mess out there, and I just got tired of it. When I came to Texas, the experience was actually pretty great. Sure, there was a line. It took me a while to get through, but everybody was courteous, nice. I loved it. It was great. I didn't mind being there. So it looks like they go off into a few other issues that the DMV actually has had. Again, it's just a mess. I'm personally irritated because my information was actually on there. And who knows who they sold it to? I mean, I get these weird phone calls from these companies sometimes saying that I owe all kinds of money or all kinds of random things, or I am part of a lawsuit. Fake calls, I've been getting a lot of them. How do I know that the DMV is not selling my information to those people and they're not getting my telephone number and my address and all that stuff through them? So, yeah, it's irritating. Prove it to us. Transparency. Let's see it. Let's see where everything is going. Who are you selling to? Be specific. Whose information are you selling? As a matter of fact, I love to see that. If you sell my information, I need to get a letter and money out of it. I read another report that actually said that the 51 million that they got from this was only used to actually pay for supplying that information. Yeah, right. $50 million. What are you paying the person that does this? I don't think so. Another lie, another cover up. It's just a mess. California, you need to get better. Because right now, you're just dishonest and you used to be so great. All right, everybody. I'll link this story down below so you guys can actually click on it and read it if you like. Like and subscribe. We'll see you later.